Sounds good. Hello, hello, hello. Nice close-up of my mug.
Yeah. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another 3D Hangout. It is not Thursday, it's Wednesday. Welcome to episode 150. I'm Noe, designer here at Adafruit. Joining me every week is Mr. Pedro Ruiz.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Pedro Ruiz, creative tech here at Adafruit, and every week we come to share 3D printing projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right. This is the show where we combine 3D printing and DIY electronics to make inspirational projects. I'm under the weather, if you haven't noticed, so I'm going to be blowing my nose and stuff throughout the show. I apologize. I'm going to do my best to mute myself.
It's going to have that trigger mute finger on there. Thank you all for joining us. We were off last week, taking a much needed little break.
How nice is it that we went on vacation, I come back and I'm sick?
You know what? I think that always happens all the time. We are coming up to 4 years now at Adafruit.
Yeah, our anniversary is in August or something, right?
I think it's happening.
Wait, isn't it August already?
Yeah.
It's August 23rd,
It is like
dude.
tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah. Anyway, guess what, guys? If you want to join us in the chat room, we have a Discord chat room. That's the one displaying near Pedro. But we also have the YouTube chat because, oh man, everybody's in YouTube.
Oh, whoops. I did not even load up YouTube
sorry, guys.
chat.
Speak in Spanish, please.
Hola, hola.
Hola. I gotta pop out the chat. Yeah, so we're trying to get everybody on Discord because
we
it's a nice, safe
understand, though,
place.
that is a little bit more nicer to see the chat and the video all as one.
Yeah. So it's gonna be difficult.
I forget who said it, that you could
I think
have a split view instead of an iPad, but
I don't have my iPad.
Yes, all hail YouTube.
Hey Kirby, welcome to the show. Welcome everybody to the show. We'll do some shout outs here. Imagination, Galactic 3D, RIS, I believe, David Bates, Angel Royo.
Sorry, just trying to get over to the chat room on YouTube.
And Ryder. Hello, Ryder.
Hello, hello.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. So let's go ahead and start with the show. If you looked in the description of the video, you probably saw I actually put in the coupon code. So if you want to buy something today, you can use the coupon code Gerudo, or Gerudo, however you say it. The Gerudo is the coupon code. It is it's a village in a race in the video game Zelda Breath of the Wild, and this has to do with this week's project. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about it in just a second. Let's go through some logistic stuff. If you have a project that you put together with Circuit Playground, we want to see it. You can get some extra credit stuff. We'll probably give away some free stuff. And as we iron out all the details and things, check out adafruit.com/extra credit.
Yes, you can tweet at us. You can post it on Facebook. Tag us in the description.
Yes.
What else?
I don't know, but go to the website.
YouTube videos, you can send it into support@adafruit.com. We'll be posting these blogs up, and we may even give away some Circuit Playgrounds.
We may.
A really cool project out there. There's already been a couple of entries. We've also been posting them up on our Instagram page.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a contest or anything. It's just like a...
It's like a show your work. Google Plus,
it's some
Pinterest.
Sort of campaign.
All of
this was put together by the CS team, right? I believe?
Yes. I believe it's...
That's cool that they can come up with some stuff like that. I like that. So yeah, so if you got your Circuit Playground, you got a project, we want to see it. Share it with us. Tag it. Hashtag Adafruit extra credit.
Again, if you're not following on Instagram, Instagram.com/Adafruit, you can take a look at some of the entries that have already been uploaded there. And of course, every day we upload new content on there as well.
That's right. All right, we also got the same deal with the $200, or more. If you spend $200 more, you get that free UPS ground shipping, continental shipping, or something like that. I forget. Check out adafruit.com/free for the details on that one. I'm doing that right now to make sure we're not giving away some other goodies, and it doesn't look like we are. Cool. Okay, so we got that. Some restrictions apply, yada yada. Check out the site if you want to know about it.
We also have international shipping with DHL. We need to remember to put that graphic in there. But all of the customs, all of that is taken care of right when you go to checkout.
Yeah, if you haven't got a circuit playground like Imagination 2 Form, you can actually use make code. Is it make.code.com or something? .org? I don't know what the website is. I think it's make code. And you can basically make a project simulated. Make.code.org?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Makecode.adafruit.com. Loads right up. Pretty cool. Makecode.adafruit.com.
Yeah, I think Microsoft made this for us. Isn't that amazing?
Very cool.
They're so nice to us. Yeah, so check out that site. If you don't have a circuit playground, you could you can still make a project with it and simulate it. It's pretty neat. It's a really great way to kind of get your hands into. How do you shake it?
Yeah, you can
I think this one. Am I showing it on the screen? Probably not. Here it is. Here's what it looks like. It's kind of neat.
Pretty cool. So it's like the block style of coding.
Yeah.
So you can arrange things. They have projects already set up for you.
They do.
Really great way to get.
Or you could use JavaScript if you know how to write JavaScript. You can do that. It's pretty neat.
I think they are working on the ability to go from JavaScript back into block code. So definitely check out the very cool projects that are already been posted there. You can take a look at the code, how all that works.
That's cool. I need to keep looking at this more. Yeah, so check that out. If you don't have a circuit playground, you can still play ground. Haha. Hey, guess what? If you live in New York, you have an option to order something and get it in the same day. Whoa. Isn't that cool?
You have about half an hour to get your order in if you want to take advantage of that. Of course, with coupon code
before noon or something, yeah.
Okay,
hey, we still got Adafruit Dailies happening. If you're not aware of it, check it out, adafruitdaily.com. It's a newsletter thing that you get daily. You get the
daily dose of tips, tricks, and really cool finds on all the different categories like wearables, 3D printing, electronics, biohacking, and many more.
CircuitPython.
Of course, CircuitPython.
Okay, and we got the newsletter for just products. It's called New News.
Yeah, you can find that out at adafruit.com/newsletter. It has a nice compact list of all the new products that are released every week at Adafruit.
Sweet. And then the last slide here is the Discord chat room. So yeah, we're partners with Discord. We have our own server, and we have many channels that everybody is loving. We have about 150 folks that are in there, which is crazy.
165 to be exact.
One of the reasons why we are using Discord is because it's a safe place, and it doesn't go away after the show.
Yes.
So here's what it looks like. I'm in live broadcast chat room. This is where everybody can say hello. Hello, I'm Noah here, and Pedro's over there. We have a lot of different channels. We got the general. There's some people sharing their projects. That looks really cool. I gotta check those out. We have dog pictures, cat pictures.
The number one reason to join is to check out all the kitty cat pictures.
Adam Combs has been sharing.
Oh my God, he's got some very awesome pictures of his electron microscope that he's been working on, and of course the eclipse that just happened on Monday.
I believe it's up here. Yeah, and a lot of people are sharing some things. Like Brian has a great talk on IoT devices, so check that out.
Very cool.
Really great way for all of us community to kind of share your work and get some things. Also, I actually threw out there a kind of a voting thing. So I'm working on a project, and I asked, hey, what would you guys like to see for the artwork, A, B, or C? And everybody voted. Thank you so much for voting and participating. And B won, so I'm doing B. This is the CircuitPython logo here with the typography and the little snake. So that's really cool. We had a nice discussion there, and that's what it's all about, a nice, lengthy discussion.
That is saved. We can go back to and reference things.
Yeah. So checked out the Discord chat room. And let me look.
Everybody, go ahead and say hi to our very own Tony D, who just joined today. You want to see some CircuitPython help or any other projects that might involve any crazy coding that Tony might be able to take a look at, go ahead and say hi.
Yeah, I'm getting bombarded with like notifications right now.
Yeah, so I think I don't have my notifications on for that reason.
Do the show. All right, so let's take a look at this week's project.
This week's project has been in the works for about 3 weeks, I want to say.
Wow.
It is the Thunder Helm. From...
Give me a second to get in there. Do some banter.
So it is the Thunder Helm from
Zelda Breath of the Wild. Yeah, so this is actually kind of a hard thing to acquire in the game. You have to put in hundreds of hours to get this thing, which I did, and it worked out because I got a lot of reference images from it, and you really can't find them online.
Yeah, we tried searching around, and the only way was to actually take all the snapshots after acquiring
it. The Nintendo Switch has this built-in screenshot button that's like on the device itself. It's on the Joy-Con, on the left one. So I used that. It was really easy to get the images off there. And you were really excited to make it.
Just because it looks so cool. I'm
cool.
Usually known for making a lot of the helmet projects.
You're a helmet guy. Helmet Pedro.
I have a nice little workflow
I've
for building
never made a
these
helmet. I've never designed one.
Probably by far my most favorite design to date, just because as we do more work inside of Fusion 360, we figure out how to do the designs a little bit more cleaner, figure out how to do sketch-driven designs a lot more better, and just the way that this is designed. Let me take my glasses off. Okay. No, they don't.
Yeah.
Glasses
I mean, it looks big, but it's actually thin, and it doesn't weigh that much.
Yeah, I think one of the favorite parts about this is that the headdress on the back here, we were able to keep that and not omit it from the design, because it was a little bit scared that that it would flop over, but I was able to get the thickness of the circle that actually holds all of the thunderbolts in pretty well, and they're just being screwed into the little decorative blocks that go onto the elastic headband on the back.
Yeah.
So now you're not able to see out of the helmet. I did attempt to make like a little slit or holes for your eyes to see through, but it definitely took away from the design.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Holding up 3. But if you just angle it in the way that Link actually wears it in the game, where it's a little bit above your nose, you are able to get a nice little view of like the floor, which is enough to see it that you're not going to bump into something. And it definitely goes along with the shield and the sword that we worked on before to complete your little cosplay of
Mr. Link.
Mr. Link here.
Hello, calling me Mr. Link.
The only thing that sucks about not completely being able to see is that you can't really swing so far.
Don't hit me.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit something. But it looks pretty cool. I like the way that it turned out. All the colors on it definitely make the helmet pop out more than any of the helmet designs I've done in the past. I really like the translucent blue and the red for the gems. What's that?
Jim is saying, like, Thunder Helm,
I know.
Guitar.
So it just started raining, like right before we started the show. We were saying, wouldn't it be so cool if we heard like thunder through the microphone? So you'd be like, don't worry, I got my Thunder Helm on. It won't hurt me.
Cool.
So it's about 300 by 260 millimeters tall and wide. So I unfortunately did not have enough time to actually chop this up for smaller size printers. But since every time somebody asks a recommendation for a printer,
everybody's recommending that CR10.
CR10, which has a 300 by 300 by 300, I believe, size bed.
Like $297 or $300.
For like, $290, I believe. If you go to like the gearbest.com, everybody seems to be raving about it.
Yeah.
So I was worried about when we first released the sword that nobody would be able to print it out. But lo and behold, there has been a dozen or more
makes and remixes.
The
community took it on themselves to like
chopped
cut
up.
It up. And
a lot of the makes that we see for the sword are actually the full-sized version of it. So that fear just went right out the door, seeing so many makes.
Yeah, because our goal is to make reproducible projects. It's amazing that people actually make these projects.
Yeah. And with just seeing that everybody is being able to get their hands on such a large printer for a cost-effective price, there, $290 is really good for such a good printer that's able to print even flexible materials. I've seen and heard that fear is completely subsided now. Being able to print larger objects would be easier.
Yeah, that's a good point. If Nintendo had a 3D printed the helmet, they would have realized the lack of vision design flaw. Yeah, it's to the game, but there's really no way to
another
look to
thing that I did think about as well is where the gems are. You can definitely do this inside of Fusion. You can edit my design. You can bring these closer together,
so you
and then maybe poke some holes through the gems.
Yeah,
where you would be able to actually see through those. I just again, this was, as we'll go into the guide, I had a little bit of a difficult time actually getting this to print, just because of there was some warping that was going on, and the amount of filament that you need for this. I had to get a 5-pound spool of this, since it is sort of a filament hog.
Yeah, it's a kilogram. Mm-hmm. How much does it weigh?
I don't remember. I have to weigh it again, but it is definitely almost a full spool of a 1 kilogram spool of filament.
It's not that heavy, but
no, it's not that heavy at all.
It's got weight to it.
It has some weight, but it's not where it's like bogging your head down.
It's a little bit heavier than the Daft Punk helmet.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a look at the guide, and we'll walk through some of the steps and things to put it together and what you learned. So here's some parts that you'll need. Obviously, you'll need a 3D printer and some PLA. Tell me about the PLA that you used.
So we went with the gold PLA from Ulti Machine.
Yeah.
So you can get a 5-pound spool or a 1 kilogram spool of that.
Yeah, it's a bit darker than other golds, like the gold from Melt Ink, for example. It's a little bit darker.
Yes, it is darker. We can actually, on the overhead, take a look at what
we don't have 2 pages.
Let's
keep going.
Oh, okay. Well, mostly because I want to point out that we do stock something that is pretty similar to this, and that is the Proto Pasta coffee color. So that's pretty close. If you,
I guess as a base coat, if you were spray painting it, you could.
Yeah. I mean, it does get across that rusted metallic feel for it. Although you are going to need like about. Yes, it is a little bit transparent. So that is one reason why I didn't use it. But if you already have this lying around, you'll probably need about 3 spools just to get to print all of the pieces out.
Oh yeah, about 3,500 grams.
It is a smaller spool, so you will need more of those. That's what it looks like. Whatever. So it's pretty close. It gets that rustic feel across. And then we do have the translucent red that I use for the gems on the side. The blue is actually more of a turquoise blue, so a little bit more green. We do have a green translucent PLA filament in the shop, so you could substitute it for that. You could, of course, just paint over, like the translucent clear material you have in the shop. A very handy thing that we will require, as well as the elastic bands that is holding this to your head. Yeah. What I did was I cannibalized the costume goggles that we have in the shop. So I just took out the elastic band that's on the back.
Okay.
Just because we already have that, and you can use the metal part. It's already included in there. You don't have to buy that separately.
Okay. And then got some paint here.
Got some paint. This is this is just at Walmart. It was like $1.50 for this metallic gold, and you can see the number there. It's 4129E. If you want to pick up the exact same color palette that I used, should definitely work on. I'll use it on other projects too that will require this type of paint. So definitely recommended. I really like the shine on there. It painted on really easy. I only needed about 3 coats to completely cover the helm for this.
Yeah, cool. So those are the parts. We use the Type A machines, Series 1 Pro 3D printer. But if you want a more affordable option, we recommend the CR10.
Yeah, every time somebody asks what printer to get in the chat, I'm always reluctant to say what we have in the shop, because it's always like, an Ultimaker 3 or a Type A or a BCN 3D Sigma, all which are way above a lot of people's costs. It's just what we have here on their shelves, so we're able to access those.
Cool. Jim has a great comment here about printing it in T-glaze filament. You could polish it so you can have some eye holes to see out of. It might even be easier to leave empty holes and use some colored film as lenses. That's a pretty good idea.
It's a really good idea, yeah.
That's definitely a good idea.
The only thing, like I said, is you are going to have to bring the
too
holes for
far
the gems.
apart,
Yeah, you got to bring them closer because they are a little bit far apart.
All right.
And that's just because I was referencing how the actual design in the game is, but you can play with that
you have
inside
your
of Fusion.
creative freedom.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about 3D printing of it, because that's a big part of this. This is really all it is.
Yeah, so it is going to take about 16 hours, and if you're a frequent viewer of the show, again, I love big nozzles. This was using the 0.6 millimeter nozzle.
Cannot lie. Yeah. Cool. So
I like big nozzles, and you cannot lie.
0.06 millimeter nozzles.
Yes.
On your Type A machine.
Type A machine. Just some notes: when you're using a bigger nozzle, you are going to have to print a little bit slower. So I had to print this at 40 millimeters a second. The layer height for this is 0.4, so it's quite high.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
it is 0.4.
0.4 millimeters. The extrusion multiplier, I knocked it down to 90% or 0.9 inside of Simplify 3D.
Okay.
Now, the Type A does have a heated bed, but you don't really need it if you have, I use 6 millimeter brim around the base of the helm, and that does an excellent job of holding the entire design down on the bed.
Okay.
Without needing any heat. Extruder temperature was at 230.
Really hot?
I mean, a lot of people like printing like at 210 or 220. So yeah, it is considered a little hot, or 190. Yeah.
It's all up to you. This is just what Pedro used. I mean,
it is definitely depending on what your printer settings. That
to keep it on the bed, it seems that that's always a challenge. So keeping it on the bed, you use the 6 millimeter skirt. Is that right?
Yes. And then we use custom supports for this. Now, because the gems that are on the side of the helmet do sit above the base of the helm, I did have to use support material for that. So if you jump into the guide there, you can have a little closer look at how I laid out the supports. Oh, before we get to that too, you're gonna have to angle it at 45 degrees just so that it diagonally fits on your bed. And that's just a tip that we like saying over and over again. If you have something that looks like it's a little bit too big for your bed, you can try putting it on there diagonally just so you can fit that extra amount of geometry on your bed. You can see what that looks like there.
It almost didn't fit.
So I did save all of the parts as is, so they should print as is. I positioned and rotated them how they should fit and print on the for the STLs.
Nice.
So all of the orientations of that should be good to go. You shouldn't have to do any messing around with it. This is just in case for whatever reason you're using a different slicer and it reorients it in a different way.
Like Kira will do it, I think.
Kira does it? Oh,
probably.
Okay. Just for reference, just in case something doesn't go.
It'll at least align it in the center, I think is what it is. Maybe. Okay, let's talk about support material.
Yeah, so the support material, we like open source stuff like Cura, but they have to be working on this, being able to add custom supports. But until then, I used the custom support in Simplify 3D because you are able to specify exactly where you want it to completely optimize how much support. You can, with your own eyes, you can look at something and visualize based on past experience what will be able to print without supports. The algorithms inside the slicers just aren't good enough for that yet.
It seems like this is the bare minimum.
This is the absolute bare minimum.
Because if you print it like this, you're actually going to clean up quite a bit. Like if you can see where my mouse is, you can clean this up. You did clean it up. Yeah. And it saved you time and material from having to print. But you could add supports here in every single eye.
It tries to add it everywhere.
You actually didn't. You were able to get away with the most minimal support material.
Yeah, I mean, people by now, a lot of the printer manufacturers have figured out the cooling that is needed to print, like a 60-degree angle very well without too much droopage.
We talked about Simplify version 4, and it has a more optimized overhang. So
the way that it does its bridging.
You did use that, right?
Yes, I did.
So that helped tremendously, I think, on being able to print something with such bridging, such long bridging.
Yeah. So for the horizontal offset, for those that aren't familiar with how that works, is just how far apart the supports are from the actual model. So I did set that to 1 millimeter, which with a 0.6 millimeter nozzle is the perfect distance to where it is able to hold on to support the geometry that hangs over without fusing to it. Again, that is dependent on.
I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna have to add it in there. I don't believe I added it.
Yeah, just in case somebody wants to print it with the exact same settings. There are quite a nice handful of settings for supports in itself. But it looks like you do have this, which gives you the resolution of the pillar. So they're pretty chunky. 16 mm
huge,
pillars are huge.
Yeah, usually I go for like 4 millimeter or 8
this is huge.
millimeter. Just because.
So why'd you make them so chunky?
Because of how big the area is on the bottom here. I didn't want to have to keep clicking so many times to get the positioning right. Because when you're laying out the supports, some of the little, what are these called, the indents that are inside of the stars on the side, it does have a tendency to try to add support material between those, which you don't need at all. So having a smaller or a bigger pillar support eliminates the supports from trying to even go into those crevices that don't really need it at all. So the bigger pillar saves in time in terms of, you know, how many clicks do you want to add all of the support material around there, and not having to add those into the small crevices.
Okay, cool.
So the major stumbling block that I had for actually having this print are the side quote unquote horns that are on the helm kept warping a little bit, and this was causing what's known as striking, which is when your part warps and then your extruder head or hot end goes over that part, hits it, and then becomes misaligned. So the tool path is now completely offset, and that would keep happening over and over again. Even though I adjusted the angle for the side horns, I would still get that. So to alleviate that, I added these support pillars on the side, so you can see in the guide there. And they're pretty much just to allow the extruder to move away from that area, given it time to cool, the little parts that would warp, and then it actually adheres to the supports so that it can't lift up. And that did help enormously, because I was able to finish the print job for that, especially with 16 hours and going through so much filament. It did take a while for me to figure that one out.
We got a comment here, a question from David. He's saying, do you find larger supports leave more interface marks?
So this is why I just mentioned I used a 1 millimeter horizontal offset.
So that means it's the distance between the support and the actual part?
Yeah.
So they have quite a bit of... Can we take a look at the interface marks that you have? It's a little large, so...
Yeah, let's take a look at... So this is where that happens right here. So this is where all the supports were for that, and you can see that there's like no marks on it right here. Nope, there it is. So that's what the 1 millimeter horizontal offset is, what's helping with that. So if you are getting interface artifacts from the support material, what the distance is from that. I don't remember what it is in Cura. If somebody knows what that is, the option that it's called, please post that in the chat.
Okay, so that's a quick look at the support material,
how to prevent
where
strikes,
to place it.
How to place your support materials, the resolution. Use a big chunky one just so you're not getting supports added to the crevices where you don't really need them.
Okay.
And then this surprised me, and when you looked at it, you were like, there was no way this
I don't believe
happened.
it.
So printing the gems.
Look how we printed them, folks.
So I printed these
completely
straight up. We have like 3 lines that are making up the bottom base of the gems.
Look how much
with absolutely no support material on this.
I don't recommend printing it this way.
Hey, if you can, go ahead and try it. The thing that's holding it down, I'm a big advocate of using blue tape, just because it's it's abundant, it's affordable, and it does an excellent job of holding down.
It's blue. I love blue.
PLA, even ABS. We've used it on ABS before.
What?
You can heat it up. So I just use a 6 millimeter brim around the base of this, and even again, I was surprised that this even worked because I'm using such a big
You can't print
nozzle.
it flat because it's really curved. It
yeah.
curves around the curvature of the
so
helmet.
that
Can you see?
that's one of the things I need to mention too. The gems for this are all curved to the contour
They don't look
of
bad either.
Of the
Let me
helmet.
look at the underside here because that has 0 supports. Look how it printed.
Yeah, absolutely no supports on there. You are gonna get like 1 or 2 layers that will droop a little bit, but you can just cut those off.
People are disgusted with your blue tape.
I know.
It's like, I love Cole. Cole's clean.
It's whatever works for your project. Again,
don't hate me because I use Cole. Like, okay.
Again, we do these projects or past 4 years every single week, 52 projects a year.
I use glass bed.
You can use a glass bed.
I use
it all depends. Yeah, if I need a shiny, translucent look, I will rip the tape off and just use a heated glass
options,
bed.
yeah.
There's always options. We have print and Z plates too.
You're just impatient and don't want to wait for a heated bed.
That is the top thing.
You're so impatient.
Yeah, especially since with parts, we have a schedule that we need to adhere to. I can't
you don't
wait.
have to explain to me
I
why
can't
you
wait
use
for a
blue
bed
tape,
to
okay?
heat up, to
Everybody
cool
put
down.
your votes in now. Do we?
If I need to rip it off, I need to test the tolerance, I need to shoot the video, I need to write the guide, I need to move on. I can't wait for things that'll slow me down to meet the deadline. I really don't. You've been watching very interesting
like 5 minutes.
Videos on like anime and manga and how the schedule for them feels just like our schedule. You have like about 3 days to finish everything.
We're at 11:30. Keep going.
So yeah, it's time, it's deadlines, it's efficiency, and all that blah blah blah.
All right, so I figured I just did this too. I figured we'd upload our reference images because if anybody's actually going to build this and they are going to paint this, you need to know
how to acquire this.
Because we don't show you all of the parts that are painted. So here's the reference images. Check them out. I had to do a little bit of work here to get it and get the images, the reference images right. So
which is really cool that we're getting paid to play video games and find all the assets needed for modeling these projects. So yeah, we have a bunch of reference images there. I think you can switch to one of the desktop just to show. It's like the side, a quarter view, the back side, all the different pieces that you're gonna need that I used for laying into the canvas.
Yes.
Oh, actually, yeah. If you load up the Fusion 360 file, you can see how I added the image to the canvas.
What do you want?
It's just to show how I laid the canvas out with the reference images overlaid on top. You can if there's time.
How often does a nozzle destroy your blue tape?
Not at all. If
it wasn't leveled,
so if I have, if it's not leveled, it'll just scratch it, and because it's a glass bed underneath, it'll just scratch it off. And like we've said before,
I don't know, man.
One of one of the first things that people think about when I say blue tape, you're thinking, like a thin, thick. No. We're using this 6-inch wide blue tape that adheres very well onto there.
A call for blue tape.
We have it in the shop, of course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick that up. It was pretty difficult to source this.
All right. Pedro wants to take a look at the CAD file.
Yeah, you can look at the CAD file for how the canvas is set up for. It's down here. You just turn those on for all the reference images.
I don't see it.
Canvas right there, and then you can turn those on. And this is the reference images that I use to lay on top. And you can see it's just basically all traced out. Use the one thing I didn't mention too.
Interesting.
We've tried numerous times, to get the Illustrator paths to go in there, but they just do not translate well at all. Even if you do like a DXF file format, it doesn't do a good job as well as it would if you just build all those paths inside of Fusion, which is a bummer when our background is in 3D animation, so we would use Maya a lot. And the Illustrator file is imported so perfectly inside of there. For whatever reason, I wish they, I'm sure the Fusion team and the Maya team are, probably, should be able to communicate with each other. They should share code on the way that, these other 3D packages that they own handle the conversion of paths and things. But whatever. I built it all inside of Fusion, the paths to create all of the extrusions for this.
Okay. So
and actually, I need a plug. Noe, you did do a full layer by layer last week. I believe, was it last week? On using the
splines?
The splines is what I used to create all the curves for this.
Yeah.
So all of your handles, the way that those operate, I don't know if those would come in as good as if you imported them from Illustrator.
Okay, so anything else you want to talk about here?
Nope, just the reference images. You can grab this if you want to do any of the painting for that. Since it is really colorful, I did have to have it open on my phone as I was painting.
Okay, back to web.
So the metallic acrylic paint. So if you notice in the game, the the details are beveled and raised, but because I knew that I was going to have to paint these, I didn't want to have to mask anything out. So I did indent all of the details so that the brush, the bristles for your brush could go up against the wall without having to mask anything out. So it made it a lot more easier to paint in all those little details without getting, going over the line. So it's if you're modeling something that will need to be painted, that's a good way to go for that. Having your detailed parts indented, just so that your brush could fit on those and go up against the wall without going over the line. So I used about 3 to 4 coats, I want to say, until the paint was nice and solid. Let it dry for about a half hour, 45 minutes, something like that, until it was nice and dry. And then I added the other paints on top of that. The little top portion of the helm also has the exact same sort of indent so that you can get your brush in there and stay within the lines. Next, after that's all nice and dry, I would...
so you didn't use any masking tape for this?
I didn't use any masking tape, which was definitely a nice way to speed up workflow for that. Usually, I do use masking tape just because I didn't think about making it easier to stay within the lines that way.
I guess a word on post-processing, you could sand it and do the whole post-processing thing. We didn't do that here.
I don't have time. You can do that. That's why I specifically, it took a little bit longer because we had to order the gold PLA.
We've done it before.
I've done it before,
It took a month. It took a month to do.
I didn't have any other projects lined up to give myself that time. And then the unforeseen, multiple fails of it happening.
Yeah, you could use all sorts of... If you want to know more about post-processing, there's other great channels I would check out. Bill Doran for Punish Props, or check out Pedro's Daft Punk project, the Thomas version, and that'll show you how you can use all sorts of different whatever it is to fill in the seams and stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so after painting, the assembly is all done with machine screws.
Yes, so my favorite smallest screws you can get to that do an excellent job of holding all the parts together, the M2 by 12mm screws. We're using these inside to hold the side connectors. They have a nice countersunk hole inside there, so they go inside the part and then get screwed into the side of the helm there. I do recommend tapping or threading the parts before you actually insert the screws into the countersunk holes, just to make it a little bit more easier to actually screw that on. And you do that to both sides.
You could glue it too, right? If you didn't want to.
I probably would not recommend gluing that, just because
it's just
the stability of it is a lot more structurally. It's just held on a lot more better, I think, with the screws.
I say do whatever works for you. I mean, people glued your thing, your sword. They had fine.
Okay. Whatever works, I'm sure. I'm just saying, some sort of epoxy glue or something would be strong. But
screws, it's built for screws. Use the screws. If you don't want screws, use glue.
Another thing too is that you're able to disassemble this and break it down. If you need to travel with it, you can unscrew it. If you glue it in, it's kind of stuck on there. Yeah. If it breaks away for whatever reason, and then you have to take off that glue to reattach it or whatever. So
what kind of screws?
M2 by 12 millimeter long.
Two different sizes, right?
Yes, the smaller ones are just used for the headdress, the bolts on the back.
Okay. Cool.
And then the top portion that actually threads the elastic band, that is added separately just because I didn't want to add a countersunk hole that is that long in. All of our screwdrivers would not fit into such a deep hole for that. So I did chop those up. And the last sort of parts here are the decorative little blocks that are on the headband. The only thing to watch out for here is to make sure that there isn't any retraction strings when you thread the elastic band through there, just so it doesn't like rip up any of the threading that is on the elastic band there. So you just want to make sure you take like a hobby knife and make sure that it's nice and smooth on the inside of that. And I did make these symmetrical, so there's holes on the top and the bottom, and the sides are, you know, the same thing or the same design on it, just so that if you put them on the wrong way, you don't have to take anything apart or anything. And you could test fit it when you're adding the headdress on it. You can have it on the top or the bottom, just depending on whatever fits best.
Yep.
And then those thread through. You can take a look at the images for how to actually thread that through, and then you can add the metal ends on that to make sure that the headband doesn't come off of the connectors there. And again, we're just using the goggle, costume goggles that we have in the shop, just the headbands or the elastic bands that it comes with. And we're just using the pliers there to actually take those off and then reapply them.
You didn't have to cut them short or anything?
Actually, no. You didn't have to cut them. So those are fitted pretty well for like a one-size-fit-all type thing. Yeah. And then arranging the bolt headdress, which again, I'm super surprised that that actually doesn't flop over or anything.
When you're wearing it, yeah.
When you're wearing it, yeah.
Cool.
So to lay those out, the top three are going to have the smaller M2 by 6 millimeter long screws. The bottom two will need to thread through the bolt, the circular part that holds everything together, and then into the decorative blocks that are on the elastic band. You can see how that works there. You can either add it to the top or the bottom based on whatever however your head fits it and doesn't allow it to flop over. So you have both of those mounting options for you there.
Okay.
And that is pretty much it. Nice little technique on how to have something that looks like it's floating in the game. Again, super happy because when we were looking for anybody else who's actually produced this as a cosplay costume, cool.
What do you want?
They look like they did flop over.
Where?
For anybody, for other people who have built the Helm before, you just do a quick Google search. There are like a couple people that have attempted to do it. One of the things that look a little bit off is just the way that the curvature is, and that's just because they're using the floor mats, which is definitely difficult to make when you're doing cosplay out of floor mat or foam. Definitely a difficult thing. This is definitely where 3D printing shines in its ability to create something that's curved like this and then go back and even change it if you don't like how it fits on your face. I did go through about 3 iterations of how the curvature was, so it could fit nice and perfectly on my head. And yeah.
Cool. Thank you, David, for the $2 super chat.
Oh,
hey,
sweet.
there's a
awesome
good reason to stay on YouTube chat.
You can be on both.
Thank you so much. You can't do that in Discord, but the chat goes away after Discord. What a strange. I'm torn between the two. I don't know.
We need to have a scene that can switch between
last
both.
night I was watching Lamar's stream, and Lamar and PT, of course, and I was on my iPhone in bed, and I couldn't go to Discord, so it's very odd. I don't. But yeah, so. All right, so we have some questions here. It's now Q&A.
Raid is saying that the CR10 is actually 300 by 300 by 400.
Yeah.
Wow. See.
How does the blue tape compare to build tack? Well, I guess the build tack is a little bit is actually not a little bit, but more durable.
Yeah,
it is an actual plastic type material.
Yeah,
it's easier to break blue tape.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if there's blue tack. Maybe build tack that's like 300 by 300.
I believe.
No, but that's actually 300 by 300. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, for the
I myself use Print and Z skins on my Flash Forge.
Yeah. The only thing about the Print and Z and the build tack is that after a couple of dozen prints, you notice that it starts to wear out. You'll see like outlines of where your object was, and it doesn't adhere as well after a couple
maybe it was too close to the bed on that one.
That
it does
could
last
be it
a while.
Yeah. But if those mistakes can happen sometimes where you do.
It does last longer than blue tape depending on your usage.
The good thing about that is that if you notice the blue tape degrading, rip it off. You can put a new one on there. Okay. So that's something you. If you only have a couple of sheets of blue tape, it will start to get a little bit expensive. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
If you guys have any other questions, please drop them in the chat.
Oh, and how funny that we're talking about blue tape and build tack. We are testing out some new stuff that just came in. I don't know if we should actually talk
a lot
about
of manufacturers like to reach out and say, hey, can you please test this stuff?
So we got some new stuff in here that literally just came in from FedEx.
Yeah.
This is why you tune into the live shows.
3D printer platine cover sheets.
Oh, cool. Okay, so this is some new stuff we'll be testing out. Huh.
I also have some stuff from Ultimaker that's like PEI sheets.
Yeah, PEI sheets. I mean, it kind of feels like it doesn't have the texture that PEI has.
There's really no texture.
So yeah, we definitely have to mention the other types of build
There's
packs.
lots of options these days.
Yeah, so we'll be testing this out. He said it works really well with PLA and ABS. So we'll see what the differences between these are. As you can see, it just looks like a clear piece of paper. Looks like there's a shiny backside. This feels like it's a little bit textured, not like PEI.
It's not PEI?
It doesn't feel like PEI.
Ooh, it's got a bumpy feel to it.
Yeah, adhesive tapes. Let's see, what else does it say here? Yeah, we'll go through all this, but
yeah, there's some paperwork there.
It's designed for better grip, consistent performance, and fewer failed parts.
I've never heard of this company, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It must be.
I completely forgot about that this was even coming in. I think the shipping and over at the office emailed like yesterday. I think I thought it would take like a while to get here.
We weren't really sure if we were going to accept or not because normally
testing stuff definitely takes away from like actually finishing projects, but it's easier if you're just printing on something. So yeah, we'll test this out, see how this performs. Tape won't tear, won't break, or transfer adhesive residue onto your printer when removed. That's cool. Lower cost and expensive film tape shipped with machines.
It just sounds like build tack.
I mean, it's definitely thinner.
Build tack is nice and thick, yeah. And Print and Z skins are even thicker, and a little bit more durable.
Yeah. We'll see how this works with like a Z probe and all that, because that's one thing that manufacturers have to keep in mind too. That some Z probes, it will mess up with that.
Oh, right, yeah.
So we'll check that out.
All right. Well, there's some contests, I guess, that Kirby's posting. I really didn't have any of this set up.
Oh, cool.
I'm just kind of running out of
pretty nice little CSS animations here
to set up the show. Okay, let's take a look here. These are some contests. Protopasta print contest. This is from PinShape. You have 52 days. I guess I'll put the link in the description of the video. Cool. I guess the prize is some new. Is that Joel's color? You know, Joel has his own color. It's called like Joel Blue or something. That's amazing. We have an avatar contest. Design your own avatar. 8 days. Cool. Okay. If you're a modeler, a character modeler, you can win a 4Blabs. Holy jeez. That's a $3,500 printer.
For designing a character.
Yeah. And a headset, an Oculus Rift. That is a huge... Cool. And ZBrush?
Wow.
Well, I mean, if you probably already have ZBrush if you're making models. I just... Co-Create just comes to mind. They do amazing work. Yeah. Co-Create. Follow them on Instagram. And there's one from My Mini Factory. Here's some themes: jewelry, vases, smartphones, sci-fi. I like their kind of concepts a little bit more, like a little bit more different.
Jewelry, or easier nothing to from, actually make.
Nothing from Instructables, I guess, huh? Instructables usually have some cool concepts. So yeah, if you guys want to win some stuff and show off your 3D skills, as Kirby put it, yeah, check it out.
Imagination to Form is clarifying that it's called High Five Blue.
High Five Blue.
Really cool.
That's a great name. All right. Well, check out the guide if you are interested in checking out this project. Please check out the video too. And that's pretty much it for the show. If there's any other questions and stuff, let us know.
I just got a little more time. This week's Time-Lapse Tuesday was the really cool birdhouse from Sonia Verdu.
Yeah.
What's so cool about this? Prints with no support materials, and it has this very nice gothic look with all of the roots down at the bottom here. It has a nice little part to actually mount this onto a tree. And I used, again, 6mm nozzle, 0.4mm layer height to print this in about, I forgot what it was. It says in the video if you haven't checked it out.
The past, like, I don't know, month or two, it's been nothing but the 0.06 nozzle on the Type A.
Yeah, before that it was like the 0.8 or the 0.6 on the Ultimaker and the 0.6 and the 1mm on the BCN 3D Sigma. So yeah, big nozzles. Since a lot of the 60% of the projects are a little bit more larger than the smaller ones, there are some times where we absolutely do need a 0.4mm nozzle.
Yeah, my Gemma case, for example.
Even with big parts like the surprisingly popular Switch drink holder that was released 2 weeks ago.
It's more of a gag, but yeah.
It works. I mean, it could be an accessibility type thing.
Some people got offended by it. Like, this is the dumbest thing.
Those are always the best. Yeah, so we had to use a 0.4mm nozzle because of the little details here that actually hold the Switch Joy-Con in place would not resolve with a 0.6mm nozzle. So even though, I mean, I should have dual printed it maybe on the Sigma, so it would use the bigger nozzle for the actual circular or cylindrical holder for the drink can, and then the 0.4mm nozzle for all of the little slots that the Joy-Con fits into. Another thing that we noticed too when printing out this model, if you noticed in the Time-Lapse Tuesday video, we started off with an orange one.
Drinking and driving while playing Mario Kart. That's cool.
So they do have like drink holders that would fit in here that have like, that's completely sealed in and have a drinking straw. So that always made me laugh too with the comments about that. It's like, there's different types of cups, right? Do you ever go shopping and see like there's different sort of drink holders for I guess you only notice that when you have children, that require those type of things. Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying before, the little slots here holding the or weren't able to be resolved with a 0.6mm nozzle. And segueing into the Joy-Con and all that, Phil and Lamar actually sent us a bunch of links that are in the show notes if you want to take a look at. There's a whole ecosystem of
show notes. I don't have that stuff in the show notes.
It is right here. These two links here. If you want to load that up, there is a whole ecosystem of a bunch of really cool accessories that are coming out for the Nintendo Switch and the Joy-Con. As we approach the holiday season, it looks like, and with the release of Mario and a bunch of other really cool games that are coming out. Mario Odyssey.
We have Mario Kart.
Yeah, I'm not too much of a like racing car games. I like the platformer games, exploring worlds. Are the ones that really are cool. That I think, just my personal preference on that. But yeah, if you take a look at the site here, there are so many like accessories and add-ons. One of the top ones, keyboard was one of the things that they Phil and Lamar were having.
There's just ideas. There's just like, hey, take a look if you want.
Yeah, look at this one here for the N64 or the Game Viewer N64, whichever one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, for like entering like long, complicated passwords.
I guess yeah. That's kind of
pretty cool. And if you go over to the next one, yeah.
What's this one?
A bunch of different like adapters,
cases,
like Ethernet. Actually, this is what Phil is using here. He's using an Ethernet adapter to do the streaming when they're doing Mario Kart streams.
Sorry.
Nice little thumb add-on. So a nice little assortment of like accessibility / useful UX design type things. So one of the cool ones is there's this Kickstarter that I saw. I think Mashable tweeting about. It was a projector for a Switch stand. And it's this big old bulky thing, and it's like, it's a Kickstarter that hasn't even launched yet. And that always makes me facepalm and motivates me to be like, okay, you could actually just 3D print one with one of those Pico projectors, which we conveniently have. So that's what I will be prototyping over the weekend here. A nice little projector Switch, Nintendo Switch stand for that.
I think we've been bantering long enough. I need to go lay down and drink, eat some more ibuprofen.
Yes, Ben Heck's Hot Pocket dispenser
was
the first thing that's actually what made me go, okay, this, when I saw the thing posted on Thingiverse.
Sometimes gag things are actually
pretty useful, yeah.
Not useful, just it's you still have to make it, you still have to design it, you still have to engineer it. Yeah. So
this didn't, pop out.
If you're driven to do that, I'm all for it. It's not hurting anyone. Maybe it's
that is a good idea.
Prides. I don't know.
Yanni is saying in the YouTube chat is saying have a liquid level detector that can alarm to autofill it. Yeah, that's really cool. See, so those are the type of things that when it first looks like a gag, actually becomes useful. Yeah, right. Especially with like accessibility and things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of really good ideas for something.
All right, guys. I apologize for being so scatterbrained and sick. But hey, well, if you guys want to join us tonight, we'll be there at the show and tell. It's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and then Ask Engineers at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We have some live shows queued up here. Of course, the Desk Lady Ada has been in full swing effect, or whatever you want to say about it. If
you want to catch the last night's stream, it is on our YouTube channel, so you can take a look at that.
They took apart the Stream Deck from Elgato.
Yeah, so that is a little switcher that all of the YouTubers have been using. A really interesting way that it was designed. It's just a big monitor with a bunch of little
membranes. It's cool. She took it apart and took a look at the components, and I even took a look at data sheets. I need to go watch the beginning. I got in the middle of it right when they were taking it apart. But yeah, just took a look at the data sheets.
Yep. And
thank you for the well wishes, man. It's not that bad. I didn't go to the doctor or anything. It's cold or whatever it is.
Yeah, just cold.
I hope hopefully you don't get sick. Yeah, just don't drink my water. That's why I got sick. My mom was sick and I drank from her water. Let's see. John Park is going to do a live stream.
Yes, I think he does it every Friday around noon Eastern Standard Time.
Yep, he's doing some great stuff. He's working on a linear actuator to make a box open like that for like a mystery box escape room type deal, which is really, really cool. Like he did some live modeling in Rhino and he 3D printed it and did some live testing, which is awesome to see. You rarely get to see that, so that's really cool.
Yep, if you guys want to join in the chat for those as well, you can give really
check out the Discord chat again.
Suggestions.
I understand if you're not there, because I wasn't there last night either. There's those edge cases where it's like, well, I don't have to switch between the two apps. I get it, but hey, we're still gonna keep the YouTube. I think we just have to be on our toes and check it out a little bit more. All right, I'm out of words.
Tony D.
Yeah, Tony D.
Streaming
will be back every Friday, I believe.
Friday night, I believe.
Check out Tony D. He just recently joined the Discord chat room.
Everybody go say hi to Tony D.
Bombard him with notifications.
Say hi.
Say hi.
He'll be checking out the CircuitPython, of course.
Yeah. So if you have any CircuitPython stuff, Well,
everybody say hi. Let's see what else. Erin St. Blaine is coming up with some really good projects as well.
Yeah, she's taking a little break, but she'll be back.
Jimmy back from traveling a little bit.
Yeah. Again, if you guys want to support the show and get some stuff, you can use Gerudo at the checkout. That's the coupon code. And I hope that there are some new products tonight. I'm really hoping the Trinket M0 comes out. It's either going to come out today or Friday.
Oh, cannot wait.
Really cool.
It'll be completely all
R2D2 version. It kind of looks like R2D2. This guy?
Oh, that's such a good idea. Oh, see, there you go.
All right, guys, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week, of course. And until then, be safe and good luck making stuff. That's it. That's usually how we end the show.
Have a great one, guys.
Bye, everybody.